Hello and welcome to our Reboot review. I'm Paul,
And I'm Dave.
and this week we are discussing Season 2, Episode 1 of Reboot entitled, was it Infected? Yes, Infected. This episode originally aired August 31st, 1995 in Canada, and September 23rd, 1995 in the US. Who knows why, but anyway, let us start off with the number one film in America. We're going by the Canadian release date here, though. So, the number one film that weekend.
Yes, around that time in the summer again.
End
Mm,
of summer 95. I'll give you a hint, it's a video game movie.
mm. Because I know of one that was in the 80s that one happened. I know because I watched it around that time.
You weren't
Uh,
born in the 80s.
no, I watched the movie that was made in the 80s around in 1995 or around
Oh,
that time.
okay. Because I was like, Dave, I think you're. Anyway,
Again, thinking on that, shoot, aside from the couple big three, I can't specifically pin it down.
it is
Mm.
Mortal Kombat!
Oh, it is that one. The only one that I probably wouldn't have watched for the obvious reasons.
So, okay. The first Mortal Kombat movie, I can't say that it's a good movie,
Yeah,
but it is
yeah.
really entertaining.
So very true. Like, it's one of those particular sort of concepts that, even with the idea and just the stuff that's done, someone either within the acting crew, speaking with the actors, or even the actors themselves, just have enough of that charisma or cheesiness to make a movie amazing in certain ways.
Yeah, the first Mortal Kombat, the 95 one, is again, not a good movie, but a very entertaining movie. The follow up Annihilation is terrible.
Yeah.
And the rebooted one from like 2021 ish is also really good.
I wouldn't be surprised, though again, it's the case if I fell off after the early ones.
It's quite good. It's quite good. All right, number one song in America.
So, if I remember correctly, we're supposedly over the hump of the Boys to Men, still staying up in the number one slot.
Yes, it is not a Boys to Men song.
Thank goodness, supposedly. Then, it's also the question of around that time. Shoot, again, it would have been only the thing of there wasn't enough on the radio that kind of either permeated my brain at around that time, or it was just either songs that I listened to or forced my parents to listen to when we were in the car.
Okay, I'm going to give you two hints on this. One, it's a song from a movie. And two, while you might not consider the artist necessarily like a one hit wonder, I would say he's not far off.
Duly noted. But again, even around that time, the only one thing that's really coming to my mind is from the Titanic movie, but I think that's still a couple of years off.
No, I think Titanic is 96 or 97. It is Kiss from a Rose by Seal.
Yeah, and that's somewhat ringing a bell, but any of the notes of the song are not coming to mind.
You would know it the minute you heard it.
Yeah, always the case. Like, as soon as the little earworm does its opening note, you're like, oh my God, it's this song!
Yeah, it's you might not know the name, but the minute you heard like the first notes, you'd be like, "Oh, I know what this is."
Yeah, so then it would most likely either send a multitude of different emotions through my brain. You'd have to see.
It's like a perfectly fine song, like you know,
Like, it's there. It did its thing. It did what it was supposed to do.
pretty much, yeah, yeah. So for video games, on the day this episode aired in Canada, you could go pick up two brand new games at the store. Oh, one of them. Okay, August 31st, 1995. If you're a PC gamer, you could go pick up Heroes of Might and Magic: A Strategic Quest.
Okay. Again, the name is somewhat ringing a bell, but it's like mired in the multitude of other particular things that it could supposedly be like?
I've never really played the Might and Magic series, but this is like a RTS spin-off of those games. But yeah, I've never played the Might and Magic games. The one that I was super excited about, oh, if you're a PC or Mac gamer, because some companies actually supported the Mac back in the day,
Surprisingly.
you could pick up a little game called Command and Conquer.
Ah, yes. The series.
Did you ever play any of the Command and Conquer games?
No.
No? Oh, okay. I've only played like a few of them, but oh, they are. I don't know how they would hold up now, because I haven't played them in a
Yeah.
long time, but
Yeah. Out of those particular sort of cases. Again, it was always one of those things that I either saw advertising for it, things in magazines and other sorts of stuff, and it's like, okay, not my thing.
yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. So let us move on to the episode. Okay, so Megabyte disguises himself as an upgrade and enters mainframe's core control chamber. Da, 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 da. He badly hurts, and they make it seem like Fong is dead here,
To a decent extent, yes.
and initiates an erase command that almost destroys the system, only to be thwarted by Bob exploiting his greed. Hexadecimal hints at a surprising connection to Megabyte.
Yes.
Okay, so couple of things.
Yes.
Um, so Dot uses this exoskeleton,
Yes.
which, look, I get it. I saw Aliens too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And apparently, whoever wrote slash animated the sequence really liked Aliens.
Yeah, it wouldn't be too surprising.
Because Dot just becomes Ripley.
Yeah, pretty much.
Also, there's a shot of Megabyte when he's like getting like squished, and his
Yes.
eyes dim down, and it looks very much like the Terminator,
Yes.
which is kind of a fun little thing I noticed.
Okay.
What else did you think about this? What did you think of the episode?
With this particular episode, it's kind of a case of at least having experience with things that are going to happen further on in the series. This episode, starting into season two, gives a bit more of an idea of the other kinds of functions and things that can happen within the city, such as when the entire city powers down for the upgrade, with the center closing itself off, shielding itself, and the whole city sort of shutting down, showing off those particular sorts of things that can and sort of be done. Something to maybe keep in mind for the future. But as well as that, sort of seeing other sorts of things that some of the characters can do, the principal office and all the other stuff can do, like Megabyte turning Bong's favorite game into a death trap.
Yeah, that was cool. I did like that.
And then, not too sure what you sort of thought of it, but kind of the idea of all the 3D models that they worked on and designed, and then just uh, depixelating them or thinning them out, showing all the rest of the rigging and whatnot inside of them as all the people in the city were being erased or deleted, and just what sort of things that they work with or function to get a character to work was interesting and also mildly horrifying.
Yeah, stuff like that is cool, and I do like, at least in this one, Megabyte comes across as less of a bumbling idiot and more like an actual villain.
That is very true. Even including the case of when Bob, you literally called his glitch the uh, do pretty much anything sort of device. And Bob literally says, glitch anything, puts up a lamppost, Megabyte slams into it.
Yeah, yeah. But overall, I thought this episode was a pretty strong start to the season. Like it's definitely like a one-off episode, but okay. I was also disappointed because like they do, Fong becomes a force ghost at one point,
Yeah. They do that.
And I was kind of hoping that like some of the seeds that were planted in this would have at least hinted at a larger story, because I was like, oh, this could be like a really cool like couple of episode arc where like Megabyte has like some kind of control over Mainframe and they have to fight back against him, but that kind of doesn't really happen. And Hexadecimal barely gets any screen time in this, which again is sad.
That's definitely true. It was definitely nice for the random peek of, hello, I still exist, though. What are your thoughts about the little discussion that she had with Megabyte?
Well, we only find out that they're somehow related.
Does that bring up any sort of concern in your mind? Because I remember a while back that Megabyte sort of insinuated that sort of idea with Hexadecimal, and you were kind of like, ugh.
Uh, I always have problems when like I don't love the idea that they're related, but I'm willing to go with it if it ends up being an interesting story. Like, I don't love the idea of the two big villains being like brother and sister, or whatever their relation is going to be revealed to be. I'm not super into that, but I'm willing to be proven wrong on that.
Okay. Let the episodes go on, see how things kind of go.
Unless it's something really creepy, I probably won't have too much of a problem with it.
Okay. See how it goes.
Yes, yes, we will. Did you have anything else about this episode there, Mr. Dave?
Hmm. I believe the only one other thing is, out of all circumstances, Megabyte has the final gambit of he has a self-destruct mechanism on himself that he could activate.
Yes, we find that out, which is interesting, and one of those things that I really hope that they're laying seeds for like a season 2 finale or something where that's going to come up again.
Mhm. And then, of course, with how the whole scene goes out and Bob shoots him out of the principal office, you sort of think, oh man, is Megabyte actually going to be done and over now? But then the thing falls back near his tower and he'll see his hand come out and it's like, oh, he was only just bluffing to supposedly be ejected or moved out of that situation to not be deleted.
Yeah, I do. Like I said, I like that Megabyte is being treated like more of a serious villain here, but they still do have a bit too much cartooniness sometimes with him. Like that whole like glitch anything, and then he hits like a street lamp, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of.
Okay. Well, would you say that would start to go to the place of Bob as a character, or more so just still the tone of the show and how they're sort of working with it?
Oh, it's definitely to do with like the tone of the show, because again, ultimately this is a show for children.
Okay.
Yes. Alrighty. So I don't really have anything else about this episode. It was, it was a fine season opener. Um, Next week we'll be discussing the episode High Code. Da,
Yeah.
da, da, da. We're gonna meet a codemaster who is gonna come into the system and cause havoc, looking for Lens the Reaper.
Yes.
Oh no, sorry, that's the one that comes in. They're looking for Talon.
There you
We
go.
don't know who Talon is.
Yes, with that one.
Anyway, until next time, I'm Paul.
And I'm Dave.